water, earth, fire, air. Long ago, the four elements existed together in harmony. Then everything changed when the emo dragon attacked. Only the Kingslayer, master of fire and bone puns, could stop him. But when the world needed him most, he vanished. 100 days passed, and the Kingslayer faded into obscurity. That is, until he was spotted in an ice block at the Dark Moon Fair. He's a fire mage named Kosher, and although his skeleton puns are passable, he has a lot to learn before he's ready to save the world from Deathwing. But I believe Kosher can save Azeroth and put an end to the Cataclysm.
Greetings from the Abyss, ladies and everyone else, and welcome to the expansion everyone wants, but nobody wants to admit they need. It's been a minute since my masterpiece trilogy, Kosher the Kingslayer, blessed all of our senses, and a lot has happened in the meantime. Cataclysm Classic came out, goblins were added to WoW. Yes! I was temporarily detained by fate and unable to play games or create videos. No. And the world of Azeroth is now a reference to my favorite Bo Burnham song, A World on Fire.
This first song is called A World on Fire.
But here I am, on fire as well, with a lot to talk about. So let's get you caught up to speed in the best way I know how, by telling you a beat-by-beat narrative throughout Cataclysm, as I traverse levels 80 to 85 and reach the endgame. A story with an abundance of elemental aesthetic and copious amounts of cyber cartel celebration. Only question, where to begin? Well, naturally, it all began when I was born. I think that's going a bit too far back. So let's start when I logged in on the launch of Cataclysm Classic, only to find myself stuck, buried under the auction house, with hundreds of other souls who weren't given a drachma to give to the ferryman of the River Styx. Luckily, since I sold so many skeleton jokes, I have quite a few drachma, and I also own a keyboard with a spacebar and was able to escape this ethereal prison by jumping. Though, for the rest of them, all those players are still down there, staring, waiting, thinking. Canonically, whenever you're in the auction house, just know you are being stalked by 100 damned souls who couldn't escape the telltale heartbreaking fate that damned them all, who can see you, but you can't see them. But I'm not one of them, for I'm free. And with this freedom came the knowledge that Orgrimmar was vastly changed, and the world of Azeroth alongside it. This is due to Deathwing, the emo dragon, sundering Azeroth, wavering all the otherwise stable elements, faltering continents and cities alike, prolapsing the planet, and deciding that he wanted to adapt the biblical book of Revelation with lots of creative liberty. Why? Well, because he was underground while all his co-workers were doing awesome shit like partying and casting spells, and so the Lovecraftian mythos decided to introduce themselves. On his own, he's a swell guy, he's a stand-up guy, but you give him a bit of Cthulhu sugar, and he gets a bit cuckoo, a bit crazy, a little bit, uh-oh, wacky! And this wacky dracky is quite the formidable foe, and needs an equally deranged and formidable opponent. In that moment, it became clear that it was up to our sentimental sorceress to put an end to Deathwing, avenge Azeroth, and vanquish Deathwing once and for all. I mean, I've murdered the Lich King, surely this will be no brow off my sweat, but the raid to actually kill Deathwing comes out in like a year. We gotta start a bit smaller, come on, current goal. Hit max level 85. Very little people know this, but I'm extremely famous and abundantly ready to take on this newly changed world of Warcraft. Welcome to Kosher's Cataclysm Classic Adventures. Buckle in, bitch, because it's about to get elemental as shit. Spin to win? Yeah, he lost. And that's an ongoing theme for any Alliance players whenever I'm out in the world questing. Some I let slip by, but I always make sure to change the trajectory of their lives in one way or another. Take the Pipe and Storm Hero, for example. Now, the Pipe was a night elf hunter who was considerably wary around me. Given the fact that I'm from a kill-on-sight cyber cartel, I don't think I have to explain to you why, but I figured to give them some space to breathe while we were both questing in the caverns of Gargoyle's Hovel. However, when a dwarf shaman named Storm Hero, badass and thought-out name, man, accidentally attacked me, I decided to end his life. I then devoured his corpse to regain my health and turned to see the Pipe, frozen like a deer in headlights. Word is, the Pipe was voluntarily checked into a psych ward last Thursday. It's a win-win. It's a spin to win. Or take Kalevra, the Worgen Wizard. This guy, I actively went out of my way to make him feel safe around me. Deep in the Firelands Forgeworks, I followed and stalked him. I helped him slay certain monsters and watched his back while we waited for the boss to respawn. This was, of course, to lure him into a sense of false security, for when the hour of Kosher came, I traced his carefree steps to the Inferno and saw him deep in combat with the quest boss, Tholambar, who Kalevra was fighting for quite a bit. But just as the quest boss hit 5% HP, I murdered Kalevra, ate his horrible corpse, and fucked off on my nether drake. He stood no chance. This wasn't a matchup he was gonna win. Spin to win? Yeah, I sure hope it does. Short story put long, that's why I can't quest in the open world. I am a detriment to everyone around me. So my therapist insisted that I level through dungeons instead, and while questing is the most effective and efficient way of leveling in Cataclysm, as you gain reputation with various factions that will give you pre-raid best in slot items and enchants, I couldn't give a fuck about efficiency. I'm literally the bad guy, and by dungeon leveling, I'm defeating myself. I am the good guy now. You are subscribed to me and you just liked the video. Thanks in advance for leaving a nice comment. So yeah, I leveled up in dungeons instead. And it's a good thing I did too. While you were busy questing on the overworld, I was in the dungeons learning about the elements from their very sources. An understanding of the four elements is crucial if I am to put the world back together. And the four base dungeons of Cataclysm are what I want to pinpoint on, as each one is dedicated to one of said four elements. There's the Throne of the Tides, the Stonecore, Blackrock Caverns, and the Vortex Pinnacle. While there's more dungeons that unlock later on in leveling and at max level, these are the four you're gonna get the most accustomed to. So without further ado, let's talk about this shit, starting with the Throne of the Tides. Today I set out on a grand voyage to find the four elemental shards and craft them into an entity that'll guide me to defeating Deathwing. And what better way to pursue such a journey than to foil it with my previous? I started my last adventure to slay the Lich King with the worst paladin in the world, and so now I'll start my next adventure with the best paladin in the world. Hey there, you silly little sailor.
Yo!
Welcome on board my boat.
12 seconds later.
Here's how I feel. I think WoW is a game.
No, I disagree.
Dude, I'm literally gonna ram this Jack-in-the-Box cup up my ass. Founder of Zealand.
Is that an iceberg?
Oh no! No! Cozy! How could you let this happen to us?
Wait, I'm undead. I can't drown. Sorry, Sven. But look, we made it to the Throne of the Tides. Did you guys like that segue? I think it was pretty good. This was the first dungeon I came across on my journey of my no reputation dungeon-locked ultimate Iron Mage. It's the home of the elemental lord of water, Neptulon, and the conflict going on down here hits tremendously different as you traverse the watery halls and get slapped across the face by the beauty of this sea-inspired water park. With the briny breeze in our pixels, the five of us must embark on an adventure through the beautiful splash zone of water's elemental realm to prevent it from being taken over by an army of crazed sea serpents and Lovecraftian monsters.
I wouldn't drink this if I was thirsting to death,
Said Alita, linking greasy whale milk in the chat. I'll buy it off of you.
You would kosher. Lol.
Does this bastard think I'm playing some sort of game? I'm not! End of dungeon. Open trade with me. 200 gold. I'll take it. With that, we ensued the first boss, Lady Nazjar, who sounds an awfully lot like Nazjatar, And she's one of the bosses ever, actually. Essentially, she's the blueprint for every single Destiny boss fight. You hit her until she goes completely immune and spawns multitudes of ads. You slay the ads, and she becomes damageable once again. Rinse and repeat. This is outstanding video game design and not one bit monotonous, shit, or boring. We repeat and rinse until she is antonymous with alive, and in the beautiful blue and gold ambiance of Lady Jizjar's quarters, we commence forth past her corpse, hurling ourselves right into the next boss. Commander Ulthok, the Festering Prince. Very attractive name. I think I'm a bit wet. An ancient Lovecraftian being known as a Faceless One. Wait, but I can see his face. He commands a legion of other Faceless Ones sent by the old gods to conquer the element of water itself. And he's more of a World of Warcraft boss. That is, you get to play the game, just don't stand in the black puddles like this fucking guy. Oh, good, he's moving. He's moving into another black puddle. Yes, I love classic WoW. Speedrunning. We make our way past the beautiful coral-infested seafloor battlegrounds and come to Erunak, Stone Speaker. He makes the ground blow up, but he isn't even the boss. You actually have to beat the boss out of him. Once you do enough collateral damage to this poor guy's prefrontal cortex, you get the actual boss, Mindbender Gershaw, who latches onto a player and mind controls them, effectively turning them into the boss. Afterwards, there's these dark beams and you gotta break them with line of sight and a number of other attacks I couldn't give a shit about, just trust my swag. We killed them, we moved on, it's cool. After taking a page out of the Philippines book and massacring multitudes of aquatic life forms with plastic and magic, it's a wonderful combo, we end up at the Coral Garden, where Neptulon himself was getting his ass sucked by all these Dagon cosplayers. But then, you guys don't get it. He makes us really fucking big. And now, you're astrally projecting, you are falling in love with me, and we have to kill a squid named Ozumat.
Behold the power of pure water!
I am a fire mage. But alas, it matters not, for the squid Ozumat is defeated, and Neptulon ejaculates quietly into the night, never to be seen from again. Literally. Afterwards, I acquire my greasy whale milk for free. What? And book it out of Poseidon's crib before any Cyclopean whispers want to kick it in my cranium. It's here that I'll say that Pearl Princess is the best modern Barbie film, but it may hold a torch to the classics. Regardless, it clears the rest of the modern Barbie film selection from its aesthetics, Shakespearean writing, and its subversion of well-established tropes. A banging mermaid film that is reminiscent of King Lear, all within the expansive mythos of the Barbieverse. Anyways, water rune acquired. With the power of pure water mastered, I have but 3 more elements to study, and 3 more dungeons to pursue to master them. The next being the Stoner Core. Stoner Core? I barely know her. This dungeon is an underground bipolar cavern of loathsome liabilities. It was once considered the hardest dungeon in the game, by the way, since it was the first dungeon with mechanics. Oh my god. But I'm not bloating my fucking video by talking about that shit. The Stoner Core, located in Deathwing's crib itself, the elemental plane of Earth, Deepholm, was once a super chill hangout with a Land of the Lustrous type of vibe. We had rocks, gems, and ore everywhere. If Mr. Beast was here, he would love it, considering all the potential there is to attract minors. But alas, the Stoner Core was corrupted by Deathwing, and now everything here is nihilist and evil. It's wild how often those two overlap. The first boss is Corborus, a massive sandworm from Dune Part 2, who is a worm made of gems, and he is shedding. Me when I'm shedding?
Oh, man's driving a shed on the M25.
Corborus goes into the ground and spikes you. I'm talking straight up makes you boof the crystal on God, on me. And though his name sounds like a RuneScape boss, he is actually in fact one of the bosses of World of Warcraft. He is excessive in the easy department and passionately easy. So is clicking subscribe because I have the best videos ever. After Shai Hulud is fucking dead, we commence forth to Slabhide. This dude is dope as shit, homie. He's a massive corrupted earth dragon who brings the fucking roof down and makes it explode. Lots of elementary dodging required, lots of spells and slashing. I'm very good at public speaking, and when Slabhide is dead, he drops an amazing mount. Allegedly. I have actually never seen it drop. Until now! Oh, it worked. I wasn't expecting that. It has a really low drop chance. I really spun to win. The next boss is Ozruk. He was constructed as the protector of the Stonecore since the literal creation of Deepholm, and nobody knows why he's still here. He didn't even need any corruption, he just decided to stick around. He's a real one for that. This guy has mechanics, but I'm a caster, so I just put a dot on him and walk away. I slap my ass to show dominion over my destiny, the Taken King. And we all take ourselves to the deepest corridors of this crystal fuckfest. Gather up 1,000,001 cultists to mow them like emo blades of grass. Then, we get to the crazy curse lady herself, the high priestess Azula of the Twilight Hammer. Her bit is that she is a WoW boss, you know, don't stand in the shit type beat, until she decides to float up into the air and let her parasocial followers try to deal with you. Then she throws 3 rocks at you. If this is all the power the element of Earth can muster, I must admit, it really puts into perspective why Ninjago had to give Cole a wicked golden scythe to make Earth look somewhat rad. Ever hear the expression, dumb as dirt? Yeah, it's no secret. Azula is trampled in like 15 seconds, and the Stonecore grows silent. Earth rune acquired. Complete waste of time. Stupid element. Boring boss. L. Plus radio. Plus water and earth. And still only level 82. We're making a good pace, and it's crazy how I've not been harassed once in these dungeons yet. I really hope we can keep this. The Blackrock Caverns. The Blackrock Caverns are a set of interconnected subterranean hallways created by Deathwing, used to transport flame elementals from Blackrock Mountain to the realm of fire, properly named, the Firelands, filled with flames and embers. This dungeon is also home to Faralina fuckers, flaming the dope fire-flinging Kosher when I've done no wrong. Fuck you! Why is it always Faralina? Have I gone and made an enemy? It's safe to say that if the enemy I've made is Faralina, I'm doing things right, and I'm going to be okay. Anyway, have you ever just zoned into Blackrock Caverns and then...
Basta de corla, Kosher, ninja.
What the fuck does that mean? Who the hell even are you? Let's backtrack like 10 seconds. So, I joined the Volcano dungeon. The first boss is dead. Doesn't make a difference to me. So I trek my way to the second boss, Korla, just in time for us to absolutely blast her. We have to line of sight these lasers and make sure everything around her is dead so we don't accidentally turn it into a Twilight Hammer circle jerk. But next to that, the fight is straightforward enough. When she dies, she dropped a wand. As one does, I click greed, like everybody else in the party, except for this guy named Chunkhunk, who clicked need, since he needed it. However, Gairan was a little pissed for no foreseeable reason and attempted to cause drama where there was none.
Basta de corla,
He screamed, which was the name of the wand.
Kosher, ninja.
I, of course, respond with a sensible parry. Question marks? I greeted and didn't win it?
You took an item you already have.
What?
I need it in 1.
Said Chunkhunk, breaking the fiery silence. I didn't take it. I don't have it. Scroll up. I didn't win. Literally, Chunk won it.
Corla's baton.
I already used even book.
What?
You kids from Faralina are something else.
He didn't ninja it. I won the roll dumbass.
Gairan, you so awkward that your mama had to tie a pork chop to you so the dog would play with you as a kid. Shut the fuck up and get off my dick, bitch. I then tried to give him food before we entered the next boss, only to find, oh no, he put me on ignore. Oh no. This dungeon seems to bring out the worst in people around me. This is a cursed place, literally. And that's a shame considering it's one of the most bangin' dungeons around. Karsh Steelbender is a dope litty fight that absolutely slaps the king. Using the furnace and the fires around to melt his armor so that you can deal more damage to him as the elementals are spawning from the very flames that you're using to your advantage is fucking sick. Beauty is goofy. And the final boss, Ascendant Lord Obsidius, is all around a DPS check, but one that can cause a lot of problems if you don't have a mastermind with you. Me. The myth of Narcissus may have been based on me. The only difference is I can fucking swim. Did I mention I love fire, believe it or not? I also dig that the final boss is actually a shadow magic user despite the entire dungeon being all Lords of Cinder. After we defeat Lord Obsidius, a trinket dropped that's extremely good for casters, and quite rare. And so every magic user needed on it, including Gairan, Faralina's strongest soldier. The clock was ticking, sweat was beating, and above all else, against all odds, somehow, I won! I laughed in Gairan's face as the party said grats, and I got my trinket, and he stood there in silence, undoubtedly false reporting me. Adios, you silly bitch. Gyren, if you're out there, just know your mom's a virgin. Owned. Fire rune acquired. With water, earth, and fire fully grasped, it's time we take a deep dive upwards to the most wicked place since early 2000s laser tag arenas, the Dungeon of Air, the Vortex Pinnacle. Welcome back to your regularly scheduled program. That was a great take. I'm leaving that one in. The dopest shit you'll see until you die, and DMT floods your brain, little fool. Off the coast of Uldum, you'll come to find floating spires, as there are cities in the sky. The Sky Wall. This is the realm of air, which was crafted by the Titan Forged with the purpose of imprisoning the air elementals. Alakir's strongest soldiers assembled in the Vortex Pinnacle, a part of this ominously floating set of prison cities in the cloud, and our job is to get rid of Alakir's army and win. Aside from some seriously top-notch lore, the Vortex Pinnacle, aesthetically speaking, clears all other dungeons in WoW up to this point by a fucking astronomical unit. The skybox alone carries it so far and above what was previously established. We make our way through the pinnacle with aerodynamic competence, slaughtering the elemental airheads until we make it to the Cyclone Summit, where the first boss sits, Grand Vizier Urtan. She uses a number of wacky abilities, initially surrounding us with cyclones and moving them around in a ring, pulling them to and fro to trip us up and fuck our shit around. That, coupled with her serious lightning powers, makes her quite the formidable foe. But, Urtan, you fail to see, this is a 5-man dungeon. You were dead before the box even shipped, bastard. With her defeat, I took a sigh of relief that the wand didn't drop. We then take quite possibly the coolest maneuver of transportation since the United Kingdom. Wait, what? Honestly, riding in a cyclone is the most baller shit anyone could ever whip up. The fact people look at Cataclysm and say with a straight face, yeah, this is mid, is beyond me. Making our way through Nimbus Rise, we begin to slay Storm Drakes and Empyrean assassins, trek across dangerous puzzle bridges, and ascend higher and higher, the watercolor sky eclipsed by the Cyclopean Tower at the Pinnacle's heart, to meet face to face with the massive storm dragon Alarius, who is one of the most fun bosses in the game, as he will blast wind in a random direction, and by having your back to whichever direction the wind is blowing, you'll be granted increased movement and attack speed, all while he is blowing his icy breath at random players, spicing up movement, positioning, and the need to fucking pray. Though, if your prayer level is high enough and Lady Luck is on your side, you can down the dragon in no time and progress onward. He also drops a mount, allegedly. I'm much more interested in riding the tornadoes. Like, look at me go. I'm sky high on swag-amphetamine. It's insane. Dueling with Skyfall stars and fanatical servants of the mysterious Assad, we make our way deeper into Cloud 10 before being face to face with the big man himself. No, not Alakir, but Assad, who wishes to become one of the conclaves of wind. So he's a subservient yes man to everything that Alakir says and wants. All around, he's a pretty solid boss too. Literally. Essentially, he summons Skyfall stars around the arena at random that need to be killed, all while he is drawing a triangle out of lightning. We need to run and stand inside of the triangle before it's finished, because after he's done finger painting with lightning, anyone outside of the triangle, the 13th major arcana card. There's also chain lightning, and like some little hits here and there. Who fucking cares about that? He draws a triangle and we gotta hop in it. That's so goofy to me. And the fact that he treats his elemental powers like a 4-year-old treats a crayon and still believes he's gonna be a conclave of the wind bumps him up to an S tier boss. But I'm an S++ tier mage, and therefore he falls victim to my flames and frenzy. The eerie floating city over Uldum's tropical coast grows quiet. Air rune acquired. With all 4 elemental runes obtained, I now had to reach level 85 to craft the mysterious entity that'll guide me to defeating Deathwing. And with all dungeons conquered multiple times over, I sat comfortably at level 84. One level sat between greatness and me, and I intended to obtain it in Egypt. I began a tedious questline in the sands of Uldum, and
doing a tedious questline in a sandy part of WoW, telling a story? Wow, why are you such a Barney wannabe?
Oh god, it's the YouTube comments. No, you don't get it. I suffer from dissociation. I am a cozy wannabe.
Is this the same cozy that made the definitely not an imitation of Uber and Barney's WoW series cozy WoW videos?
Yeah, wait, what? No, not that cozy. while partaking in the dull and deadening events of helping cat people deal with all the Egypt everywhere, and offering solutions to those who pondered the afterlife but were stuck in denial, that magic moment came, and so did I. With a plethora of sin, a splenic abundance of elemental mastery, and an army of cats as my witness, the golden flakes rained down upon me for the final time, and I gracefully hit max level in a temple right beneath the eradicated levitating pinnacle, kneeling with my face in a catman's crotch. This is World of fucking Warcraft! Now, at max level, I knew what I had to do next. With all 4 elemental runes rounded together, I used the last of the skeleton gesture fortune to fund an engineering addiction. For just shy of 30,000 gold, I banged out all 500 and something levels, listening to epic rap battles of history in Indonesian, on mute, and in no time at all, I became a Grandmaster Engineer. It is at this point that I traveled to the Temple of Earth in Deepholm with the 4 elemental runes in possession, to craft them into a single entity. I want you, the viewer, to take a deep breath, soldier, perhaps put down the lubricant and listen. This is what it's all led up to. This is what mastery over the 4 governing forces of our world creates. This is the pinnacle, elemental creation. Stand up, soldier, for a moment like this comes once in a millennia. This is the peak of the mountain. This is where I fucking run! It's, goggles. I made goggles. What the fuck am I gonna do with goggles? At least in RuneScape, they give me, like, an anti-dragon shield to go kill a dragon. What the fuck is this? This is a letdown. A letdown! I can't believe it. Absurd. I knew I should have quit after we killed Arthas, and I should have just logged in to do the Dark Moon Fair dailies like I was. Oh, I can't believe I actually gave this a shot. Goggles. Fucking goggles. Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Goggles? Fucking goggles? Alright, I'm sold. Now you guys know why I've been wearing these goofy things the whole time I was telling you the story in past tense. Yeah, I can't take them off. Ever. With max level obtained, every element absorbed, and my gaze dead set on Deathwing the Destroyer, and some wacky whispers in my head, I equipped the goggles and they were bound to me forevermore. I trusted in the great old words, and decided it best to take a momentary chill at the Dark Moon Fair, my favorite place in Azeroth, where I had been spotted in an ice block after 100 days of logging in just to do the dailies here, because I was so burnt out. This is the calm before the storm, and I'd much rather like to spend my time in a Gestus Festus theme park than some half-burnt city filled with the unfortunate and unfunny. It is here that we take a pause in the narrative, for the path ahead is one filled with criminal mischief, horrible experiences and heroic dungeons, Faralina failures, tarot readings, synergy shenanigans, suck my root, and above all else, a newfound fire-fueled promise. The emo dragon Deathwing's harrowing destruction of the world shall not go unpunished. And if I am the only one who can put an end to it, then so be it. I promise you this. With these goofy goggles now in possession, I can see the path before me so vividly, and I'll make this impossible feat a reality. Through rain, wind, earthquakes, or volcanic ejaculation, I will save Azeroth and become Kosher the Dragonslayer. But that is a tale for another time.